Hi, I'm David Zyla, and welcome to another edition of Feel Good Beauty. To watch additional episodes of Feel Good Beauty, please go to the David Zyla YouTube channel. So, first of all, what is Feel Good Beauty? So, I've spent my career helping women feel like the very best versions of themselves. And when it comes to feeling beautiful, I've discovered that it's not about chasing trends, transforming yourself into an ideal, or even shifting 1 inch out of your comfort zone. It's all about identifying and magnifying the unique, individual, and beautiful woman that you are. So today, I am excited to share some tips with you on discovering and using your perfect skin tone in both your wardrobe and home, incorporating yoga into your life with kitchen yoga, simple home practices to transform mind, body, and life author Melanie Salvatore-August, creating your own makeup with Make It Up, the essential guide to DIY makeup and skincare author Marie Rayma, and initiating change through journaling with the Daily Journal Show's Jackie Bernardi. So I'm very excited to welcome them, and I'm very happy to have you with us today. So let's start by taking a look at how to discover and utilize a new color to incorporate into your wardrobe and home. So if we could go to the first slide, fantastic. Color is a wonderful tool to use in our wardrobes and homes. And all of our very best personal or true colors are based on the natural colors found in our eyes, hair, and skin. And today we're going to focus on discovering your very own essence color. Your individual version of this color is simple and uncomplicated, yet powerful in its own right. If we could go to the next slide. So the essence color harmonizes all of the colors in your skin and becomes an extension of it. And it reveals your most genuine, open, and essential self. It could be thought of as an alternative to white, or your very own version of nude. It's a harmonizing color that's soothing when used in clothing and interiors. If we go to the next slide. So it all starts by looking at the palm of your hand. And so I'm going to tell you how to find this color. So get a paint, I suggest getting a paint fan deck and use the colors that would typically be found in makeup foundation. Find a comfortable place with natural light and hold up each chip to the palm of your hand to find the one that gives your skin the most smoothing effect. When you're looking for this, you want a color that harmonizes and blends with the skin, pulling all of the different tones together. You shouldn't be seeing any shadows. The skin should not look aged in any way. And in fact, it should be the opposite of that. It should be very smooth. And I like to use the word glowy. And again, it will harmonize. That is the key word here. If we could go to the next slide. So the possibilities, I want you to be open to possibilities here. And when I say that, I mean that a lot of times we'll automatically think that a skin tone is, just warm or cool. Well, there is also neutral in there too. Another beauty term to describe color. It is also possible that your skin has a bit of green in it. And that's something that a lot of people may be surprised by, but some skin tones will have a touch of green. Some will have a touch of blue to them. Like, look for the unexpected. And so I'm showing you a range here, and this is just literally a starting point to show you how, you could have a skin tone that's got a little bit of mauve in it or a bit of gold to it, etc. So really be open to a wide range here. Don't get stuck in, peach, pink, almond, branch out beyond that, because the more possibilities you look at, probably the better odds are that you're going to really discover the one that's perfect for you. So if we could go to the next slide. So here's one individual that we're going to look at, and here's how I like you to look at color. Put it right in the middle of the palm of your hand, and you're going to see if things all smooth out and look, and the swatch itself should look like it comes out of the hand. And so what I'm showing you here is this is a very cool pink. And you'll notice that it really isn't doing anything. And dare I say, it almost looks harsh on the skin tone. It's a little bit too cool, and it has a little too much gray to it. And you'll notice that it's really not connecting with anything that's there. And the skin tone is all just kind of going flat. It's not being illuminated. I'm going back to that word again. So let's look at a second one. Okay, so I went warmer here, but whoa, I went overboard. This is much too yellow for her. This is like a golden, like a buttery kind of tone, and it really isn't doing anything. It's actually distorting the colors a little bit in the hand, and you'll notice that the tips of the fingers, the 2/3 to the tip, do you see how shadowed those look now? And they didn't look that way before. And it's all due to this color just literally contrasting in a really harsh way. So let's go to another one. Okay, so we went a little darker. You'll see that by adding this touch of brown, we kind of, again, we made it too heavy. It's a little harsh. It's the it's really not connecting to anything. And you'll notice, especially with this one, that the thumb is starting to bruise a little bit, and we're getting some shadow in the crooks of the fingers as well, which is not a good thing. We're not looking for that. So let's look at something else. Okay, so here's a really warm, peachy tone. And do you see, again, I'm illustrating this even more, how the wrong color can really do some bad things. She's looking really disjointed, and it's not connecting with her whatsoever. So let's look at another one. Okay, so we're getting there. So do you see how it's starting to harmonize with some of the tones in the hand, but not quite all of them? It's almost like we have a touch too much pink and a little bit too much gray to it. It's just a little bit muted, but it's definitely the quality of color is connecting in a nice way. So let's go to one more. And what do you think of this? That's pretty good, isn't it? So this is really her skin. This is her skin tone. And you'll notice that everything is balanced against it. The fingertips, the palm of the hand, all of it. It's all just glowy and very, very simple to look at and uncomplicated. And that's really what this color should be. Okay, so let's look at another example. Okay, so here's another example. This is showing you how a color can really be too heavy and harsh for someone. And so I chose this color to start specifically because I want you to look at, it's almost like this color looks weighted against her coloring is much more gentle than this. And this color just kind of sits on top. It's very alien. It seems very like thick and concentrated, and really, really does a number on her skin. She just does not look glowy, healthy. It doesn't harmonize at all. So let's go to another one. Okay, so we went a little lighter. We went a little bit warmer. And again, we're not connecting with her skin at all here. You'll notice that I believe what you'll see with this slide, by putting this tone against her skin, do you see how all of the colors are struggling to kind of come forward? If you look at the base of her thumb in particular, do you see that we're getting this yellowy, browned, little spot there that we didn't have before. It's like this shadow. That should not happen. Again, I'm going to go back to the word glowy. Everything should be smooth and really beautiful. And we're really creating disharmony with this. So let's go to another one. Okay, so better than what we just had, but this is a case, and this happens a lot. And if you're DIYing, finding your true colors, besides the essence color, you're also going to find a romantic color on your palette. And that's in one of my other feel good videos, and you can find those on the YouTube channel. And the romantic color is your version of red, and it comes from the flushed skin of your fingertip. When I see a color like this, I see that this individual is almost like blending those two colors together. And as a result, the effect is not terrible, but it's muddy. It's a little bit muddy. She's really not glowing. It's not a bad color, but it's really not illuminating. We want to hit a high note with all of your colors. So let's look at one more. Okay. So we are a little bit green, if you will. And when I say that, it's like her skin tone just goes a little bit green. We don't want to do that. She's got more pink in her skin than this, and I'm going to show that to you shortly. So let's go to another one. Okay, so again, this is a color that's a little bit heavy. It's a little bit grayed. It's really grayed for her. It's gentle. It's on its own, it's a gentle color. But again, what you're doing with all of your true colors is you're putting them in context with your coloring. So if you were to see this color on its own, you'd say, oh, it's a very soft, nice color. Against her, though, it's just too much. It's just still too heavy and too gray. Let's go to another one. Okay. And before we talk about this, I'm going to have you look at the next one. Oh, sorry. Going to go back one more. Okay. So we will talk about this one now. Sorry. I thought I had added another one to compare to this too. So this is it. This is the one. Do you see we've got just a touch of pink to it? Look at her fingernail next to it, which you can see that pink coming through with that color. Everything about her glows. You can see that it harmonizes everything that's there. And later on, if you want to go back through this presentation, please do, and note and really study how some of the colors that aren't as good separate the colors that are there. We don't want to separate. We want to blend and keep it really, really glowy. Okay, so now we have found her essence color as well. And now let's go to the next slide. And now I'm going to talk about how to use it. And so a great way to use it is to take this color and use it as a starting point for your foundation. Again, anything in a compact is not going to be true as to how it looks on your skin, et cetera, but it will put you in a direction. So if you discover that, you definitely need a foundation with a little bit of pink in it, you don't need to look at the peach ones or the neutral tan ones and so on. So it's a really, really good starting point for makeup. If we could go to the next slide. Okay, in your wardrobe. So in your wardrobe, this is a color to use in so many things. I love it in a simple blouse. Again, we think about this color as your version of white. So think about a white blouse. What is your version of white? Use it in a blouse. It's wonderful for a nude shoe. Again, a beautiful look is to wear a nude shoe that just extends the leg. It's a long, unbroken, beautiful line to wear. And so a nude shoe in this color is fantastic. I also love a simple dress, just very simple, uncomplicated, clean. If it's got a slight Grecian quality to it, that can work too. Again, just simple, uninterrupted kind of dress. It's also fantastic in lingerie. It's a wonderful color to sleep in because it just feels like you're wearing nothing. It's also good for any kind of undergarments. I also will say that it is a wonderful color to think about as an alternate to white for a wedding dress and wedding flowers. Really unexpected, really beautiful, really, really lovely choice. And what I would say is this color is, how would I say, it has, because it is your version of nude, I want you to remember that, you know, wearing it in a situation where you don't want to be vulnerable. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. If there's a situation where you don't want to be vulnerable, this probably isn't the color because it's really revealing your true self. It's a really good color if you're mediating a meeting of some sort, or if you want to just, you know, feel and show people that you're being completely open and honest. So just note that. So let's talk about how to use it in the home. Okay, so in your home, it is fantastic in a bedroom. It is restful, mellow, really, really easy to sleep in. It's also a really good color to use anywhere one might contemplate painting the color white, meaning something like a hallway. You could even think about trims. You know, a lot of times trims and ceilings in a room are painted in white. Well, why not you use your quote unquote white for these? So that's another possibility. I also love it in a bathroom. It really gives it a nice spa-like feel. I also love it in things like sheets and towels in the home. And what I would say is anywhere you want to feel restful and just a sense of peace. It's a really, really good color for that. So if we could go to the next slide, if you'd like to find out more about your true colors and more about what I do, you can follow me at all of these places and check out my books. So moving right along, now that we know what to wear when we're doing yoga and wanting to feel very zen, we are going to talk to an expert about how to incorporate yoga into our lives. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Melanie Mel Salvatore-August is a veteran yoga meditation teacher, Reiki master, and author of Fierce Kindness, Be a Positive Force for Change, Kitchen Yoga, Simple Home Practices to Transform Mind, Body, and Life, and the upcoming 2021 release, Yoga to Support Immunity, a mind-body breathing guide to whole health. She's the founder of the Fierce Kindness Organization, the Classroom Virtual Studio, as well as a longtime yoga teacher, trainer, mentor for YogaWorks. So, Melanie, welcome.
Hi there, David. Thank you for having me.
We're so
Happy
glad
to
you're
be
here.
here.
Oh, we're so glad to have you. And I really look forward to this. And so a lot of us, I think everyone is probably familiar with what yoga is, but I wondered if you would just start by just giving us a brief description for those that are not as familiar with it.
Absolutely. Well, you know what it was fantastic hearing you talk, David, was hearing the word harmonizing, because that's what I think of as yoga. That yoga is this aspect of like not being fragmented. I'm going to move my body. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to, pick my colors. It's all together, right? So whether we're doing a posture to strengthen the body, which I'd love to show you in a moment, or doing a breathing exercise to help, boost your immunity, which I want to show you too. Whatever we're doing, we do it with this intention of harmonizing, right? Our truest, most authentic self. So that's kind of a big answer, but I see yoga as that harmonizing technique or tool.
Fantastic. And I know you're going to show us some fantastic moves to incorporate into our lives. But what I love about your idea is that yoga can be incorporated into our lives in a very seamless, easy way. Would you tell us a little bit about that idea and what you focus on in your kitchen yoga book?
Absolutely. So I'm a mom of 3 little boys. They're wonderful. They're wild, right? My house is not, I mean, I tried to make it peaceful, but it is not this Zen palace. So what I've learned being very busy, full career, full house, kids, I cook every day, you know, like all of that, is that there are these key aspects of not creating a brand new habit. Like, okay, I'm going to do my yoga on top of everything else that I do, but that I'm going to weave it into my life. So it's a part of how I wake up in the morning. It's a part of how I make my tea or my coffee. It's how I take care of my skin, right? So these tools can be used really all day long. And the more you marry them, harmonize them with something you already do, the easier it is. And the more unifying it is and the more peaceful it is. So I hope I answered.
You certainly did. Thank you for that. So would you share with us some work that we can incorporate into our day?
Absolutely. So I'm very excited to, no, you'll see, I'm going to shift my camera because, you know, now I'm on my laptop and I'm going to move back. So real, right? So you're going to see it get weird for a second and then you're going to see it get better. Now, what I'd like to show you, you know, I just want to invite those. See, now it got weird and then it got better. I want to invite those to maybe get up. Oh my goodness, get up with me. Is one standing posture that I find does so much, and there's so much you can do with it, and it's a lunge position, right? So here, you know, I'm standing, and then I'm going to move my body and separate my legs. Now, before I do it, the real power of any of these things that we do is intention. So what is it that you want to fortify for yourself or cultivate? And what is it that you want to let go of? These 2 aspects: inhale, cultivate, exhale, clear. Okay, so once you start to go, okay, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do this, and this is what I'm going to cultivate. Step the right foot forward, the left foot back, so I'm separating, and then bend both knees. Have the front knee right over the ankle. All right, now the real anchor here is to squeeze your thighs together. So as you're bouncing, squeeze your thighs together. Now, what if you had your kitchen counter here? Easy peasy, right? Your teapot's boiling, right? Wherever you are, maybe you're in your bathroom, as long as the floor is not wet from the shower, be careful. Otherwise, you could do this anywhere, right? So hug the thighs in, firm the belly, one point of focus, and begin to connect with your intention. Inhale, I'm cultivating. Inhale, I'm cultivating. Maybe you add arms in a big reach, right? Exhale, I'm clearing. And then you just keep having this opportunity. Now, maybe you hold this for 30 seconds. Maybe you go a little deeper with that back knee. Maybe you hold it for a minute, okay? When you feel like, okay, that's enough, you're gonna straighten both legs, square the hips, squeeze them together, and lift the chest, big inhale. And this is another opportunity. You could push against your counter. You could push against your refrigerator, wherever you are, right? Your sofa, okay? Big stretch here. And again, what are you cultivating? And what are you clearing? It's a very simple, potent tool. Okay, and then of course you would step up and you do it on the other side. Don't leave one side, you know, harmonize both sides. And again, you would hold for the same amount of time. You would cultivate, you would clear, and then you would cool it down and stretch, right? So you're gonna get all different parts of the body. Now, does one pose take care of everything? No, but it's a start. And that's once you get started, then you're like, oh, I feel good. I'm going to do that side again. Oh, that felt so good. That's so good. I'm going to hold for a minute. So good, right? And then that builds. Okay. So start easy and make it feel good and then go from there. Okay. So there's one other thing I want to show you here, and it has to do. So there, you know, we have this diaphragm muscle and it helps us breathe. And it comes all the way down and around. And a lot of times we think we breathe from the chest, but really we breathe from this, I call it the bicycle tire lovingly, the mama bicycle tire, whatever bicycle tire you have, and you're just gonna breathe into it, okay? Now, as you breathe, you wanna push the belly out, breathe into the side, and breathe into the back body. Now, I'm gonna show you a little key here. First of all, why do we wanna do it? When we breathe deep like this, we breathe and we massage this amazing nerve called the vagus nerve. Maybe you know all about it, and it's a good thing to Google, right? You know, after our session, after our show here, Google, because it is its only function. The vagus nerve is to calm us down. So when we calm down, what do? Our longevity functions, they increase. Our hormones, our metabolism, right? Our digestion, our immunity. So we're gonna breathe, belly, side ribs, back body, and massage the vagus nerve and boost our longevity functions. Now we can do that by bending over. So then when we push into the belly, it pushes into the thighs. So there's nowhere to go but to get into that vagus nerve. Now you could do this standing. For some of us, that feels great. You could do this coming right down, oh yeah, onto your floor. Do it now with me. Come all the way down and literally give your belly a little bit of pressure with the thighs. It doesn't have to be too much, just a little bit. And then as you fold, you can hold your head. You can go all the way down to the floor. Some of you may know this as child's pose. You're gonna breathe and push the belly. Inhale, all the way around, side and back for a full, complete breath. And that full, complete breath, that is the key. And I know, you know, I want to give it to you fast. So when you do it though, do it slow, 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 slow. Okay. So lunge, full and complete breath. These two may seem so simple, but when you do them together and you do them every day, it's a game changer. Okay. David, do I have time to share one more thing?
Oh, please. Yes. And I have some
Okay.
questions for you.
Oh, okay, good. Now I'm if it's okay, I'm gonna come close because you know this aspect, and see, it's weird, it's gonna get better. I like to tease, it's a story of my life. It got weird and then it gets better. Okay, so here we have this aspect of moving the body, wakes up the mind, clears us out. Great for you know, the lymphatic stagnation, kind of clearing the body, great for digestion. We move the internal organs, it's fantastic. Then we, with intention, deepen the breath. So inhale, it's that front, side, back. Exhale. We marry that movement, which, you know, physiologically is going to help our longevity functions, but we're going to marry it with the mind. Inhale, my intention. I'm cultivating peace. I'm cultivating calm. I'm cultivating good health. I'm cultivating courage. I'm cultivating compassion. Let's start with ourselves and then others. So we marry this breath and this intention to harmonize, to illuminate that deeper aspect of ourselves, you know, not the one that's just reacting to everything, that deeper one that that is true heart, right? True heart. So exactly what you're sharing, David, is exactly yoga. It's like, here, how do I make choices that harmonize with that true essence of who I am and why I'm here to share it with the world, right? So the last thing that I wanted to share was, and sometimes you're like, oh, meditation. No, I'm sorry, I don't do that. But just this aspect of being still, 1 minute, right? Creating symmetry in the body. I just kicked my stand, right? So creating symmetry in the body. So that means, like, if I took my body, tailbone to crown, right, along the spine, and then I made it even on both sides, right and left, okay? So if you would, do it while you're watching. If you're on a chair, put your feet down, anchor them. I call this a proper seat. Not like proper like we're drinking tea, but proper as we're gonna just start here. It's a wonderful blank, neutralized slate. And then as you do that, begin to breathe and feel into the belly. And you can take your hands and you could press right onto your belly. You could even press onto the side ribs and the back body to create full and complete breath. Do it with me. Inhale and exhale through the nose. Just try it. And begin to slow down the breath. So you make them a little bit longer, a little bit fuller. And then start to feel maybe the body start to relax as we begin to shift the nervous system into a healing response. And then either soften your eyes so you begin to kind of blur that outward consciousness, or close your eyes if you feel stable. And as you do that, very simply, in your inside voice, your mental voice, just say inhale and exhale. So you're just going to follow the breath in the belly and say inhale in your mind, exhale. And do that 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Now, what that will do is reset your nervous system and help your hormone function and help all these longevity functions that will carry us into a strong, resilient mind and body. It's that simple. So where do you do that? Okay. How about when you go use the bathroom? I know, so naughty. How could I say that here with us? Well, you know, we all do that. That's a habit we do. So you sit on the side of the bathtub or the closed toilet, and you anchor and you do 1 minute of breathing. Powerful. You bend over, put a little pressure on your belly, right? And you do a full and complete breath series. Imagine if you did that for 50% of the times you went into the bathroom during the day. Wow. That 2 minutes would reset your nervous system, your productivity, right? Your immune system, right? So it's those places. So, in kitchen yoga, the book, it's really like we're doing yoga everywhere, out in the garden, in the elevator. When I lived in New York City, we had an elevator, right? A couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, whatever you can already stack onto something you're already doing. Right?
This is so wonderful. Literally, that exercise that we just did, I immediately felt my shoulders go to a whole other place where they belong, and to their rightful spot. There are so many benefits of yoga, which you've discussed some of, obviously. And I'm curious, what drew you to this path?
Oh, thank you. A lot of worries. I felt very anxious. And it was 30 years ago almost, and before kids, and so I was actually incredibly fit. So it wasn't the exercise, it was just that kind of call to be quiet. And I remember the first time, we do a pose called Shavasana, or corpse pose, right? We lay down and like, oh, what am I doing here? I have so much to do. When something happened where I got quiet, and I felt this sense of peacefulness wash over me that felt delicious. I put it always in food, but it felt delicious. And it only lasted maybe a minute, but then in the future, it started to last 5 minutes. And then it lasted when I was walking, from class to home. And then it lasted for the entire morning. And then it would last for the whole day. And not that it, never went away, but I could start to recall that. Like I can recall it now, the quiet. And then suddenly it became, I won't say it's my default, but became much easier to get there throughout the day with one breath. It's almost like, I don't know, I think of Pavlov's dog, you know, I see it, I drool, right? I think about it, I relax. And I become more compassionate. So in those two ways, I think my anxiety, my worry had a certain level of lack of compassion for myself, which is the base of what I call fierce kindness. Like, can we kind of get a hold of ourselves, which is the hardest thing, and be loving? You know, I can be very loving to you, but can I do it for myself? Can I say, oh, well, you know, I'm doing the best I can. This is where I'm very thankful, and go that way. So very emotional, the yoga for me.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Um, I'm curious, what do
Mhm.
you say to the person watching who says, I don't have time?
Mm.
How, you know, again, you've literally made, I see.
Hey, look at that.
There you go.
Hey, look at that. What's such good ideas. I'm picking up what you're putting down, David.
I'm taking
What
it
I would
down.
say, right? What I would say is, gosh, I so get it. Like, I don't have time for this. Like, you know, even the aspect of those of us who have, you know, either little kids or even really wonderful pets and dogs that are, you know, putting their paws and their fingers under the door, or you can't shut the door in the bathroom. I totally get it. And I also say, you know, adding a little laughter to any of these tools, super helpful. Like, oh well, you know, this too shall pass, right? And to just keep rolling with what you can do, right? Don't worry about it too much, just keep going, right? So what I will say is that what I call keep going, you know, well, don't give up on it. And when it's not perfect, when it doesn't look like it does in the magazines and your favorite yoga video, oh well, right? Oh well. Um, so my three top tips to incorporate yoga into your everyday life from a busy mom um, is to make it easy, right? And when I say easy, you know, truly accessible for you in the physical form, right? So if doing that lunge is not accessible, but you could sit in your chair, put one leg forward, one leg back, and do a little gentle stretch, that's what you do. You start there. Um, Easy is also uh, easy for you to remember, right? So I put little clues kind of everywhere, right? In my kitchen, first thing I see is, you know, I do Ayurvedic kind of clearing techniques in the morning. I scrape my tongue, I flush my eyes, I see my little copper pot, my little, it's right there. Because the first place I go to is the kitchen where everybody else is sleeping. So, and then I have my quiet space. So, where can you put little reminders for yourself? If it's the mat and you're going to use a mat, you know, keep it where you can see it and make that little morsel so easy to accomplish. I'm going to turn on, I'm in the kitchen. I'm going to turn on my teapot, and the time it takes for my tea to boil or my water to boil, I'm going to do that lunge and that lunge and then that stretch, right? Just start with the first thing you're going to do. The next things just come, usually. So easy. And then make it fun. So you want to do it again. So, you know, I feel like a big part of that is attitude to make something fun because anything can be fun and anything can be not fun. So this aspect of, you know, going with intention, you know, and say it to yourself, you know, I'm cultivating strength. I'm cultivating compassion. I am grateful. What happens when we talk to ourselves in what I will refer to as an elevated emotional state, we release chemicals through the body, and we do in a scientific form shift our attitude and shift the process inside. So I'd say make it fun. Are there other ways to make it fun? Maybe you turn on your favorite song and it becomes like, okay, teapot favorite song, do my lunges or whatever you're gonna do, okay? And then as I mentioned so much, because I love what sometimes is referred to habit stacking. I love it. It's changed my life, habit stacking. So you already brush your teeth, right? I mean, most likely. You already use the bathroom, right? Most likely. So whatever you do, I love my morning coffee. And so, you know, like these are the areas where I build lots of other habits. So I get it done. And every time I do that, it creates this aspect of my brain builds a stronger connection to it, and I'm more likely to continue on that and build on it. So it's a good foundation.
Great
Those
tips.
are my
Great
three.
tips. Uh, So if we want to know more about you, here
Mhm,
are your
mhm,
books.
mhm,
And I think we
mhm.
have your contact info also.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm on all those, that Instagram and that Instagram and that Facebook. I'm on those things, and you know, kitchen yoga is has that mental component. As you'll see, it has lots of affirmations. It has what you can do physically and all the instructions, including breath and meditation. Fierce kindness is really about changing the internal dialogue and working with intention. And then I'm super excited. I feel the next book is going to be a real marriage of that and focus a lot on breathing. So I, you know, check it out when it comes out in 21.
We really look forward to it. Mel, you have made yoga so much more accessible and easy for us to incorporate into our lives. And we thank you for that. And thank
But
you for being with us today.
thank you. Thank you for everything you do, David.
Thanks. All right. So now we are going to be talking about DIY makeup with Marie Rayma. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So Marie Rayma is the creator of the popular blog and YouTube channel, Humblebee and Me, where her thousands of readers and viewers learn how to create everything from body butters and balms to lipsticks and lotions. Her work has appeared on goodhousekeeping.com, womensday.com, and saja.ca, and she has spoken at events across Canada and the United States. Her first book, Make It Up, The Essential Guide to DIY Makeup and Skincare, is all about creating your own cosmetics from scratch and was released by Running Press to excellent reviews. She graduated summa cum laude with a Bachelor of Design honors from York University and Sheridan College in Toronto, Canada, and holds a diploma in organic skincare formulation from Formula Botanica. Marie, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I love sharing my love of making makeup with people in front of you. This is a thing you can make.
Yeah. So, all right. So we I think a lot of people are very, you know, quote unquote, true to their makeup brand. They love the how would I say, the idea that they can go and, you know, get a quality product that they believe in, et cetera. But your idea is that we can also create a fabulous product for ourselves and literally take it to the utmost level of customization.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I will fully admit that while I love making makeup, I also love buying makeup. So this certainly doesn't have to be a, you know, all in, everything you use is homemade. There's plenty of room to do both, but in some realms, well, I say in all realms, but it might be some realms for people who are a little less stubborn than I am, you might really, really enjoy making your own versions of things. And so I've got a few things off to the side here. So one of my favorite things to make is foundation, make my very own foundation. And of course, when you make it yourself, you can blend that color absolutely perfectly to match your skin. None of this buying two foundations and mixing them together because, you know, the company doesn't make quite your shade. None of that. Make it exactly what you want. And if you get a tan, make another batch. You don't have to go to Sephora or Ulta and drop $100 to buy a new foundation and a new concealer and so on and so forth because you got a bit of sun and you maybe went on a nice vacation. You can do it yourself. So this is one of my favorite products makes, and this is just like a cream foundation. You can see I'm starting to hit pan in there, which is always exciting. But something that I really love about making your own foundation as well is that you can buy vintage compacts and refill them with your own product. So this is a vintage compact that I bought at Covent Garden Market in London, England, and just kind of found it. And like, if you've ever been there, you'll know it's pretty kind of chaotic and just like never ending little winding pathways. And I found this at a shop and I was like, that would be perfect. And I took it home and cleaned it and filled it with my own homemade makeup. So that was very fun. But yeah, I'm wearing foundation that I made myself today. And I love knowing that I can take the base, which we make in my book. I teach you how to make a basic mineral makeup powder that just, it's a lot like a Bare Minerals powder, any kind of mineral makeup powder. I teach you how to blend the color, and you can wear this as is, and it wears beautifully, very high coverage. Sometimes I'll just use just this powder as a concealer if I want like a really good high coverage. It's especially good for kind of like packing over any pimples or anything. But then you can take this powder and you can transform it into, so as you saw before, that was like a poured, like a hot pan cream foundation. You can turn it into a liquid foundation or a serum foundation. You can turn it into concealer. You can turn it into sort of an airbrushing powder. There's so much you can do with it, all in exactly your shade.
Wow, amazing. What possibilities. All right, so what sort of materials and equipment does one need to make their own foundation and cosmetics?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the biggest things that, if you're getting into DIY makeup, I really want to encourage you right off the bat to commit to purchasing the right ingredients, because there are a lot of kind of Pinteresty tutorials out there that sort of tell you can rub like a beetroot on your face and that's blush, and you can kind of put cocoa powder on your face and that's bronzer. And well, yes, those things do have some level of pigment. It's not gonna, like, if you love makeup and you're used to high-end functional products, you're not going to be impressed with the results that you get from putting cocoa powder on your face. There's just no bones about it. You're gonna sort of be like, I look dirty, I smell like dessert, I would like to wash my face and then maybe have a chocolate bar. So we want to use real proper ingredients, and these are the same ingredients that cosmetic companies use. So a lot of them are just powders. They're pretty unassuming looking powders. We have white powders like titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. So these provide a lot of the opacity for the products, or the coverage. We have iron oxides and other pigments, of course, to give things color. So in iron oxides, brown, yellow, red, and black. There's chromium oxides that come in greens. There's ultramarines that come in blues and purples and lavenders. And then we can blend those things together to create, any color you can imagine. And then you can also buy micas, colored micas in just an absolutely dazzling array of colors to give things some sparkle and shine. You can even get ones that color shift, so it looks a little silver at first and then the light shifts and you get a flash of gold or lavender or blue. There's so many wonderful fun ingredients. And then after that, the ingredients are a lot sort of more recognizable. So things like beeswax, candelilla wax, castor oil, coconut oil, cocoa butter, shea butter. There's you will need to buy some specialty ingredients, but the thing is, 5 grams of makeup is a colossal amount of makeup. Your average tube of lipstick is only about 3.5 grams. So you don't need much of any of these ingredients because we use makeup in minuscule amounts.
So I have a question. So once you've made your own, let's say, foundation, is the application and storage any different than something you buy at the store? No, exactly.
Not. Obviously, like a powder product is always going to apply, differently than a liquid product, but generally speaking, not at all. You will notice that if you are sticking to all natural ingredients, the shelf life won't be quite as long, but we're talking about 1 year instead of And I know when you buy makeup, they always say on there, like, the period after opening on this is like 8 months. And then you look at that and you go, this was a $70 palette of eyeshadow. I will be danged if I'm throwing this out after 8 months. So, you keep it for a while. When you make your own makeup, there is a higher chance that the fats are going to oxidize faster than if you bought it, simply because usually when you're purchasing eyeshadow, they're not using ingredients that will oxidize for exactly that reason. So where they might use something like dimethicone, which has a very long shelf life, very stable, we would use something like jojoba oil, which will eventually go rancid, but you're still going to get a year or two of shelf life. So we're not talking like remake it every week by any stretch of the imagination. I just keep everything in my bathroom.
Great. And I love the advantage of doing this because you mentioned that any color is possible. It's amazing because you hear so many times that, this season, I can't find a foundation. So that is fantastic to know. Marie, I'm curious, what are the biggest misconceptions around DIY cosmetics?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is they do such a good job of marketing products to only have like one use. It's like, this is a lotion for under your eyes. Nowhere else. You have to buy other lotions for the other parts of your body.
Right.
No, you don't. So things like a lipstick. You can very easily use a lipstick as cream blush. If you have a cream blush, you can use that, generally speaking, as a lip tint. Eyeshadows can make really good highlighters. You can very often use something like a concealer as a foundation if you just sheer it out a bit more. And when you start to understand how these products are formulated, this starts to become very, very obvious. When you're flipping through my book, my general the way the book works is that I have you create bases for different products and then color them different ways. So there's a lipstick base and you can color it a bunch of different ways. There's an eyeliner base, you can color it a bunch of different ways. But when you compare the formulation for eyeliner and lipstick base, it's really not all that different. There are definitely slight tweaks and changes to account for the different wear challenges between lips and eyes or the rest of the face, but these products are not crazy different products. And that can be, even if you're not super interested in making your own makeup, just understanding that and reading ingredient labels can make you a much more savvy shopper.
Great to know. Question. What do you think is the best way to find the time to do this? And I should ask, what is the time commitment to crafting your own makeup?
The time commitment is fairly minimal. Obviously, it's going to take more time than, say, not making your makeup on any given day. But if you're trekking it to Sephora, you can probably make yourself a pretty good amount of makeup faster than it would take you to go to Sephora and then find everything that you want and then come home. Also a little bit more appealing in these times than maybe going to a mall. I know I've had so much fun making this makeup with my girlfriends. Might not be the sort of thing that's really on the menu right now, but it is a lovely thing to do. I hear from moms who do this with their daughters, and that just makes my heart swell. This idea that these young women are learning from a young age that makeup is a thing that can be made. It doesn't have to be purchased. And I know there's a lot of joy in purchasing makeup as well. But to know that it's not this mysterious, opaque, magical thing, that it's this thing that you can make yourself. So turning it into a group activity can be a really, really fun way to do things. But honestly, if you already have all the recipes written out, which are in my book conveniently, it really doesn't take very long at all. You're melting together the base, and once that's melted or blended in a coffee grinder, and side note, make sure you only use that coffee grinder for makeup. Don't try to also make coffee in it later. That's gonna make for really bad coffee and really kind of not so awesome makeup. Is that coffee grounds in my foundation? Great. yeah, and once you have the bases done, it's very simple. I have kind of a fun story from a Christmas party that I was attending a couple years ago. I was wearing this like perfect, very like royal green top, just like perfect Christmassy green. It's like, I want an eyeliner that's this color. And the party started in about 40 minutes and I already had the the eyeliner base made. So I scooped out the required amount, melted it down, added green pigment and gold mica, and within about 5 minutes, I had myself a perfectly color matched green gold eyeliner and I wore it to the party.
That is fantastic.
So
You're making this so easy and so accessible. What other products can we make at home?
Oh, all right. Well, I'll start talking about makeup, but oh my gosh, I could go. So here's an eyeshadow palette I made. This is maybe like a two to 3 hours worth of work. You know, everything blended up and pressed into a palette. The most expensive part of this DIY was absolutely just the palette that it goes in. The ingredient cost is negligible, and these are just beautiful. We've got, let's see here. I've got some sort of tinted lip gloss stains. This is actually what I'm wearing on my mouth right now. This is a really pretty color shifting highlighter that looks kind of gold in the little tin, but it goes from gold to silver and back as the light shifts. Oh, I've got lipsticks, I've got highlighters in cream and liquid forms and in powder forms. Got a cream eyeshadow here, which I'm kind of obsessed with cream eyeshadow these days. Making it, buying it, I just can't get enough. But you can see got this really lovely shimmery. Wow. And once that dries down, that doesn't go anywhere. I can like run it under running water and scrub it with my finger and it doesn't go anywhere. So that's quite cool. And then yeah, outside of the realm of makeup, you know, lotions and facial serums, hair serums, shampoo, conditioner. I'm very, very passionate right now about like solid shampoos and solid hair conditioners. Of course, very little packaging. And you can just kind of mash them up a little bit like dough, like bread dough, and then just kind of like form it and leave it to dry. And then you have a brick of shampoo that'll last you ages because there's no water in it and it's super concentrated. There's almost no end to the things that you can make at home if you want to.
Wow. So is there any, you know, I know a lot of women talk about they want their makeup not to come off and they want it to, you know, last throughout the day. Is there anything, DIY makeup is literally just as, you know, what phrase is it, more as stay on makeup as store-bought?
It certainly can be. You know, it's a little bit like food, right? Like you can make, you know, gorgeous restaurant quality meals at home, but you know, you need to have good ingredients and good recipes. So one of the things that I did when I was writing my book was I tested these recipes obsessively. So I would be going to hot yoga classes because I wrote the book in the winter in Canada, which is not like a great place to test how long makeup wears when it's really hot out. So I would do a full face of makeup with like different eyeliner and eyeshadow formulations on like each eye and a full lip. And I would go and do like a 70-minute long hot yoga class and sweat it out aggressively. And then I would, you know, come out of the studio and then I'd be like looking in the mirror and being like making notes, you know, right eye did well, left eye had some creasing, like so they can absolutely be very good. And depending on kind of how far down the rabbit hole you want to go and which ingredients you want to invest in and how important it is to you to have things be natural or not, there are different ingredients that you can choose that will extend the wear of your makeup. But I ate a lot of burgers to test the wear time of the long run.
You are your own test audience. I love that. I love that.
I did recruit friends as well, but I am, of course, my easiest, most sort of accessible test client. Oh, I did a funny April Fool's joke on my blog where I joked that I'd made lipstick for my dog. People believed me. I had a few people be like, I think I'm going to unsubscribe because I don't have a dog. So if this is what you do, like, I guess we don't have anything in common. It was really funny. I don't test lipstick for my dog.
So speaking of YouTube, you are coming up on a milestone there, aren't you?
Yeah, I am really close to hitting 100,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. And so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I would super, super appreciate it. The channel is Humble Bee and Me DIY. I'm hoping to do a little bit of something fun when we hit 100K to celebrate.
This is very exciting. Congratulations on that. So Marie, we can follow you at all of these places and find out more information about you and your fabulous book and how to create DIY makeup.
Yeah.
Marie, thank you so much for being with us today. We so appreciate all that you do.
Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to the next speaker. I'm a very avid journaler, so I'm really looking forward to hearing her sort of share tips so I can deepen my practice.
Excellent. And you like yoga and you practice yoga. So this is very fluid today, today's program with the guests. Marie, thank you so much. So next we have with us, I'm very excited to introduce to you Jackie Bernardi. So Jackie Bernardi is a catalyst and champion for personal growth. As the host of the Daily Journal Show and director of the Accountability Camp programs, she provides real-time accountability, support, and creativity to help people break out of the patterns that keep them stuck. Jackie has made it her mission to actively support anyone doing the hard work of improving their lives. Jackie, thank you so much for being with us today.
I'm very excited to be here.
So we're talking, you're going to tell us all about journaling. And I wondered, for those that do not know what journaling is, if you might give a brief description.
Sure. There's all types of journaling, but the essence of journaling is it's taking the thoughts and the ideas that you hold in your head and putting them in another format, whether it's writing in a journal or creating art, or it's a way of getting the ideas and thoughts out of your head and into the world in a different way so you can see it from a different perspective.
Excellent, excellent. And so so what brought you to this?
I've been journaling for decades. I don't want to say how many decades, but enough of them to make a difference. But it really wasn't until a few years ago, and we had a family crisis. And it was so overwhelming for me that I had to find an outlet for my thoughts that was more than just talking to others and so on. Like sometimes the thoughts were so deeply personal that I didn't want to share them with anybody else, right? And so I took to my journal in a new and different way than I ever had before. And some days I looked at my journal, I opened it up and I grabbed my pen and I was like, I don't know what to write. You know, I had no point of reference to where even to start to unpack the things that were going on. So what I decided to do was break it down into different types of things that I could write about, categories, if you will. And that started a new practice for me. And it helped me very gracefully get through that period of time and come out on the other side feeling strong and empowered and confident that I was really moving in the direction for me that made me feel good, right? All this is about feeling good. And so to go through something like that and use journaling as a tool to help me travel through that was perfect. And that's how I started journaling very intentionally as opposed to just a daily practice, if that makes sense.
Okay, so speaking of daily practice, how does one even start a daily practice?
It's a decision. It's truly a decision. And it's like anything, whether you go on a diet, whether you're going to start a yoga practice, whether you want to invest in starting to create your own makeup, it's a decision. Everything just starts with mindset. And the beautiful thing about journaling is if you don't have the mindset to really get started, the journaling will help you through that. So it starts with a decision, but then in very real and practical terms, the way to get started is to maybe find a beautiful journal. just something to write in or to draw in that brings you joy when you open it or when you look at it. And then keep it out by your nightstand or your desk, if you work from home, on your desk, someplace where you'll look at it and you'll feel compelled, oh yes, my journal, I almost forgot. And then go in and write it. For most of the people that I work with, journaling ends up coming pretty easily because they always have a direction in their journaling. And so there's rarely a time, actually there's never a day that they don't have some kind of journaling prompt from me available to them, so that if they do open up the journal and say, I don't know how I'm feeling today, I don't know what to write about, I don't even know what to think, the prompts help start the process of uncovering what's going on.
And will you tell us what a prompt is?
Sure, yeah. So the prompts that I create are just suggestions of things to write about. So I'll give an example if that's okay, right?
Sure.
So this would go under the category, what I would categorize as a self-development type prompt. And in it, and actually, if anybody wants to do this right now as an exercise, they can, if you have a piece of paper and a pen or pencil in front of you. I want you to think about a personal strength that you have, that you have. You know you have this personal strength. It can be a thing, it can be a value, it can be anything, but just think of a personal strength that lives inside of you, right? And once you have that in your mind, I want you to think about it just for a couple moments about how that plays out in your life and how that shows up, right? And once you have that, go ahead and write how you can use that personal strength today, very intentionally. It can be a simple thing, but how can you incorporate it into your day today? The thing about journaling and the journaling prompts is what they're asking you to do is not look at the macro view of everything you're thinking about. It's just looking at what you can do today, what you're thinking about in this moment. And I could ask you that, give you that same journaling prompt tomorrow, and you would write something different, most likely. Even if it's the same strength that you're writing about, I could give that prompt to you for 10 days straight, and every single day, something else would come out, a little bit of a change and a little nuance that can help you see things differently.
Wow. Wow. So I have a question, and that is, the person who says, I don't think I'm a good writer, I don't think I draw very well. I think a lot of us have performance anxiety when it comes to a creative outlet. What do you say to them to feel good about jumping into journaling?
Yes. So your journal is deeply personal. I really don't recommend that people share their journal with anyone, except one exception that I will get to, right? A journal does not have to be this. A journal could be a simple piece of paper, what I call a burn page. And if you're not excited about jumping in, or you worry that somebody's going to violate your privacy and read your journal or stumble upon your journal, right? You can always journal on free pieces of paper and then literally burn them or shred them or cut them up and throw them away in different garbage bins. It's nobody's business what you write about. And this is the thing that I hope people understand, is that thinkers think and writers write. And journaling is the intersectionality of that, where you can take what you're thinking, write it out, get it out, and then get rid of it. You don't have to hang on to the thoughts that are circling around in your mind all the time. But if you don't write them out or talk them out or paint them out or run them out, they're going to stay in there. And that keeps us smaller than what our lives are meant to be.
Do you have any suggestions or exercise to get us to feel inspired? I'm sure a lot of us will, wake up one day and just go, I just don't want to write. I just don't want to draw today. What are there any techniques to employ to spark some inspiration?
Sure. You can write about anything. And one of the things that I do on the Daily Journal show is sometimes the prompts are just silly. Sometimes the prompts are shopping lists, right? Because the idea here's how I want to say this, right? There is no perfect way to journal and nobody's grading you on it, period, right? It's my hope that by using journal prompts of all styles, of all techniques, that it gives you a resource pool to pull from when you really do need to do some self-reflection. That's not every day. We do not need to reflect every single day. That makes it heavy and not fun. But if you get like one of the prompts that I have is a superhero prompt, right? And it's what is your superpower? Everybody has a superpower. If they dig down deep enough, there's something that you do, David. I know what your superpower is, right? There's something that you do that is your unique superpower. Now go ahead and write a story about how you can use that superpower out in the world to make the world a better place. It's a story. It's not based in reality, or it could be anything. The idea to make it exciting, if you're just not feeling it, is look at your dog. Write about the meal that you had last night. It doesn't have to be like earth-shattering, life-changing journaling, right? It's not keeping a diary. Journaling is not about keeping a diary. That's a separate thing. Some people think that's the same thing. But to really flesh out how you feel, how you move through the world, and so on, it's a balance between empirical and experiential, right? Mm-hmm. So to stay engaged, you've got to make it fun. So some days you really are going to want to write about something that hurts, that you want to change. And some days it's going to be light as air, just popcorn. And it's all good.
What are the benefits of journaling?
That's an interesting question. I think the primary benefit, if you do it as a regular practice, is that you're constantly challenging yourself, whether it's one of those light and airy type journal prompts or something very serious, but you're constantly challenging yourself about how you think. So we learn pretty much everything in school. Well, actually, that's not true, but that's a whole other topic. But no one ever really teaches us how to think about what we think. We're not really asked to challenge what we think, except some really great teachers out there may, and some parents may, but truly, many of us go through life not challenging our thoughts at all. And so we start believing what we believe, even if that belief is not true. So I think the road to growth is constantly challenging what you think. And the only way you can do that is to know what you're actually thinking about anything. So it plays out in very big things like politics. It plays out in very simple things like making the decision to keep a journaling practice or not. See, there's the whole scale. Anything can be challenged. If you're considering becoming vegan, and you never have been. I mean, that's a beautiful thing to journal about because you're going to challenge how you've been your whole life and look at it from a new perspective. Perspective has the power to change everything in your life, everything.
So do you think that there is value in like going back and reading a journal from, let's say, a year ago, or is it more of a tool to inspire us and nurture us and invigorate us more in the, how would I say, like the short time around the journaling?
Great question. My first answer on that is I typically do not go back and read them, although you won't see me throwing them out either. I have this vision of myself someday sitting down with a cup of tea when I'm in the mountains and there's snow coming down and there's twinkle lights all around me and I'm in a cozy sweater and I open up my journal and I ponder how beautiful my life has been, except it's messy. Your life is messy, right? So I don't go back and read them typically. And I don't necessarily encourage that because that's who you were on that day of your life. Now, if you want to ask that same question, if you want to write about what you wrote about that day, don't look at that as the reference material. Go ahead and write how you are about that issue or topic today. Then maybe go back and compare them. However, some people, even if it's not a diary, it is somewhat of a journal of your path. Some people might really enjoy going back and reading that. Now, here's the one instance where I would absolutely say, go back. And this was the one instance that I didn't go back to earlier about the writing it on a sheet of paper otherwise. If you have something in your journal that is extremely repetitive and you can't seem to shake it, and you're going to a therapist, take your journals to your therapist, right? Take them. If you have something that you want to write on a burn page because you do not want it imprinted anywhere, take that to your therapist if you have one. That's the universe telling you this is something really big, and they will appreciate it. They will be able to help you because no matter how connected you are with your therapist, they can't see inside your brain. This is straight on vision inside, and they can help you. So that's I would say that's the exception of sharing. Like I would not recommend sharing because this is you outside of your body. That's not a gift for everyone, even the people that you love most. There's got to be a piece of you that you love so much that you're willing to protect it with everything you have.
Excellent. Wonderful. So Jackie, how can we find out more about you?
All right. Well, in terms of the journaling, I would love for you to watch the Daily Journal Show on YouTube. I put up a new prompt every single day of the year, and you can access the easiest way to remember how to access it is just to go to my website, JackieBernardi.com, and then I create a special page just for David Zyla fans. And so it's the /Zyla, and that will direct you to the YouTube site. You can look me up on YouTube, Jackie Bernardi. I'm everywhere on social media as Jackie Bernardi. So if you type that in, if it comes up, it will be me.
Jackie, thank you so much for being with us today. And if you were to give us one last tip on if we were going to start journaling today, besides getting a beautiful book, what is the one piece of advice you would give us to jumpstart into this?
The one piece of advice that I would give is that you can't do this wrong. Truly, if you just wrote 2 words in it, that's enough for today. Ease into it.
That is
it doesn't have to be all in. It's just, you can't do it wrong.
Excellent. Excellent. What a wonderful way to end our segment. Jackie, thank you so much. I also would like to thank Mel and Marie for joining us today. I'm David Zyla, and if you would like to check out more Feel Good Beauty, please take a look at my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us.